Africa, we have the only international document that stating Zionism is form of colonization, which is a continental Pan-African document. You cannot find it definitely in United Nations. You cannot find it in Asia, and definitely not in Europe. You can find it only in Arab League. But it was the African Charter for Human and People's Rights. This charter is stating that Zionism is a form of colonization. Africa, we have the only international document that stating Zionism is form of colonization, which is a continental Pan-African document. You cannot find it definitely in United Nations. You cannot find it in Asia, and definitely not in Europe. You can find it only in Arab League. But it was the African Charter for Human and People's Rights. This charter is stating that Zionism is a form of colonization. And this is why the African in South Africa, when they fought against the apartheid, Israel was against them, siding with the apartheid. And not just South Africa, the country, the South Africa, the region. The apartheid was an idea, and they want to make it not just in the South Africa, the country, but in the region, in whole, and also in other parts of Africa. And Israel was supporting that. And this is why the founding father of the African Union, at that time it's named the Organization of Africa Unity, they made the African Charter for Human and People's Rights, and they stated that Zionism is a form of colonization. Because the word colonization, the only word you can gather Africa, the African behind it. Because different religions, different backgrounds, different languages, different histories, but all of them together against the colonization. And now it is not just the simple form of colonization. It is the Israeli form of colonization, and that is what is practiced in Sudan. The people of Masalit in Al Jineina city in West Darfur, early, as Bashir mentioned, in June 2023, they have been massacred, killed, pushed out from their city, and new settlers came and put lines under the word settlers. Who is the top engineer in issue of settlements and demographic change and bringing people from region to region and put them and kick the native people outside of the region? It is the Israeli who are engineering the war in Sudan, because it happened in the same way that happened in Palestine. The people who are in Darfur, they know each other, they know the tribes, they know everything. But the people that they came with the RSF from the Sahel region are new settlers, and they came and they took the land, and that happened before, and it's happening now. And after any wave of genocide, and that explain for you why they kill babies, why they kill children, why they kill women, why they kill in this brutal way, just because they want people to leave their land and to forget that this is the land that they grew up, and this is the piece of this globe that they belong to. They want them to clean their memory and to squash him out of their land. This is why they kill them in this brutal way. And definitely the technology now is supporting them. The arms that they are flowing from United Arab Emirates to RSF, and not just only RSF, They are doing the same in in Yemen. They are doing the same in Somaliland, and they are planning to cut Somaliland out of Somalia and to give a port to Ethiopia, and that will create problem with Egypt again because they are targeting the Suez Canal, and also they made projects, projects about that. Those people are hard worker, hard thinkers. Yes, they are evil people, but they work more than other people in the world. They plan their evil plans, but more than other people in the world. And if we want to counter this conspiracy against Sudan, we need to work, and we need to be supported by people like you, opening their forums to discuss Sudan issue in a way that can convey the right and the true message to the African audience and the international audience.
Well, inshallah, we certainly will do, Sheikh Mekki, and also Dr. Bashir. You know, Sheikh Mekki speaks about the hallmarks of the Zionist project, again, settler colonial project, and we see how that is actually playing out in Sudan as well. But just coming to the people on the ground, and you know, they are people that have been most affected, and we've seen with brutality that we see live on what has been playing out in Gaza. It's just that we don't see it featuring a lot on our television screens in terms of what is happening in Sudan. But let's just talk about the people on the ground, and you know, what do they want? How do they feel? We know they are going through a very, very difficult time at this point in time with the genocide as well. Just how are the Sudanese people responding to this? If you could unmute your mic, please, Dr. Bashir. Sorry, it's muted again.
Sorry for that. Yeah, the Sudanese people actually are very well united behind their state and the right to exist as Sudanese. And we all, even those who are in the diaspora and all around the world, and those people in Sudan, where they are safe under the army-controlled regions, are actually very
Ahmed Ibrahim is a footmaster.
Sorry. Yeah. We are really very disturbed by what's happening to our brothers and sisters in Al-Fashir. So today, I think the focus should be on what do people of Al-Fashir need as we speak now. We need really to, first of all, show their problem to the world. So now everyone actually can see what is happening to them. They need to be protected against these terrorists. They need to be fed. They need to be treated for malnutrition, for trauma, and for all those things. Now, half of Al-Fashir population has moved outside of the city to a big displacement camp near a place called Al-Tawila, which is relatively accessible, and that where people should actually focus and send their support for these people. But as Dr. Mariam said, that the humanitarian issue is not really the hallmark of this problem, but the humanitarian crisis is the result of the political issues that we have discussed during this interview. So unless the world is united for isolation of Al-Janjaweed and its backers, the UAE, like the world had done during apartheid, when they recognized apartheid as is as an humanitarian, as an anti-human system. We need that to happen now. So we need to isolate and to recognize the Janjaweed as they are, as a terrorist organization that actually do well in terrorizing people, and that the only thing that actually they do well, nothing else. That may be the way that actually Janjaweed can be forced to stop the atrocities against people of Bashir and Darfur in general. So I think I want to appeal and plea for every freedom lover in the world in general, and to our brothers and sisters, to intensify that narrative of Al-Janjaweed is a terrorist organization that needs to be isolated first, and to isolate its backers. And I think the UAE, without a doubt, in order for us to ease the situation of the people on the ground in Darfur and Al-Fashir as we speak now.
And also, I think just quickly following up from what Dr. Bashir is saying, it's easy to actually label the Palestinian resistance as terrorists. And Dr. Bashir is talking about the Janjaweed as well, to be labeled as a terrorist organization. But again, just in closing on your side, just to understand why the world has failed to act.
Mhm.
Mariam?
Uncle Inayat, why the world has failed to act, this is a question. If you look at, again, the early 2000s, around 2005, when the world said what was happening in Darfur was a genocide, and you had people like Amal Clooney and George Clooney, being very active, going to The Hague, having all kinds of campaigns to make sure that Umar al-Bashir was considered a genocidaire. There you could see it was the easy, good versus evil guy. What's happened here is that the forces that are actually backing the Janjaweed are not comfortable to be. It's not a comfortable way of saying, these are the bad guys, because those are actually the ones who are supplying the US, who are excessively entrenched in the Israeli military complex. And this is why I think we've seen such lack of movement and an obfuscation of what is actually happening. And again, like I say, my pet peeve is where people describe this as a tribal issue. It could not be anything further from the truth. And what's important also is, just like with Gaza, you're having Zionists themselves who are exposing themselves, and you have then, anti-Zionist researchers and writers who are speaking. And there's actually quite a good article that I was alerted to by Comrade Salim Valley, who's also written with Roshan Dadu about Zionism in Africa. And the article is by Dron, who is a Jewish researcher, and he speaks about Israel in Africa. And he actually gives detail as to how much money was transferred from Israel to the Southern SPLM movement for arms during the sanction period. So we have to remember, the small arms, the proliferation of small arms, the lack of DDR, that's, demobilization, disarmament, and reintegration of former fighters from the southern and northern conflict. Means that it's a completely volatile playing field, and that, as Dr. Bashir said, if we are not, if we're not united and not if we don't stand in solidarity as a world, as humanity, essentially Sudan will be left to wither, and that will basically mean the end of peace for the entire region.
Jazakallah for that, Mariam. Sheikh Mekki, some final thoughts from you?
Actually, yes, this is the way out from this this crisis. It is not just humanitarian crisis. It's a new form of colonization, imperialism, Zionism, all evil ways to grab the land and to change the identity and to make fake states that belong to one actor in the world, which is Israel in this case. That is happening now in Africa. They are making the economy of some African countries. They are intervening in their economy by companies, finance, and already you know that the international banking system is under the control of these groups. Yes, it's true. Now the BRICS is doing their best to make a new banking system that free from the control of the Zionism and American capitalism. But still, as African, we need to work hard, and we need at first to increase the strategic awareness. We need all people to reach the level of awareness that I see now in this in this forum, how things are not just war and fight. No, there is an agenda behind the war and the fight. So you need to discover this agenda, because you know after that very well that they are coming back to your country, not just by war, but they will come with other tools, and that is happening already in several African countries. Thank you.